Welcome back to another episode of the Functional Longevity Podcast, where we give you insight on how to get fit, feel younger, live better. I'm your host, Chris Border, best-selling author and owner of Y.E.S Fitness. Let me first thank you for taking time from your busy day to listen to what I have to say. And before we also get started, let me thank our sponsor, Y.E.S Fitness. At Y.E.S Fitness, we believe this. Most people lose the ability to enjoy life as they age. At Y.E.S Fitness, we help people age 40 plus get fit so they can live longer and enjoy those extra years doing the things they love to do. So, quick housekeeping here. If you'd like to head on over to yesfitnessct.com, scroll across, you see a button for podcasts. You can get a transcript or a timestamp of this broadcast right there. You can also get this broadcast wherever podcasts can be found. Can winter exercise really prevent illness? The surprising truth. Winter's right around the corner, but we try to get geared up for it. So today we are diving into a topic that feels especially relevant as we roll into the colder months. How exercise can help protect us from one of the silent seasonal declines that most people don't think about, and that's vitamin D. When you think about winter, we picture shorter days, frigid mornings, gray skies, and fewer opportunities to be outside. What many don't realize is that those environmental changes ripple down into our biology. One of the biggest shifts is our vitamin D status. And while most of us know vitamin D plays a role in bone health, the truth is that it affects nearly every system in the body: immune function, muscle performance, even our mood. Now, the exciting part, the new research I want to unpack for you today shows that exercise, specifically structured, moderate intensity exercise, can actually blunt or even prevent the winter decline of vitamin D. And that's exciting to me because I'm an exerciser, and that should be exciting to you too as well, because if you're not exercising, that gives you the opportunity to prevent the winter decline of vitamin D. That means what we do in the gym, on the bike, or even on the treadmill has the potential to act as an internal sunlight substitute of sorts. So let's take a look here. Why vitamin D matters more than you think. Vitamin D isn't just about strong bones. It's involved in the health of almost every tissue in your body. Without enough of it, your immune system can weaken, your recovery can lag, and your overall resilience takes a hit. The catch? In the winter months, especially for those who are living in the north latitudes, sunlight, the best natural source of vitamin D, becomes scarce. And in the fact that we're bundling up, and the skin that normally synthesizes vitamin D just isn't exposed. For many, that means vitamin D levels plummet. In fact, nearly half of adults in certain regions experience insufficient or deficiency during colder seasons. That's not a small number, 50%. And here's another layer. Vitamin D is fat soluble, which means it gets stored in our fat tissues. For individuals carrying excess fat mass, vitamin D can get trapped in storage rather than circulating, doing its job. That's why people with higher body fat percentages often face even greater risk of deficiency. So let's take a look at some new research. It's exercise as a shield. Researchers recently put this to the test with a simple but elegant study. They took a group of sedentary adults with overweight or obese and split them into two groups. One group maintained their normal lifestyle throughout the winter. The other group started a structured exercise routine, 4 days a week of cardiovascular work. That included treadmill sessions, exercise bike work, and a mix of steady state and interval training. Importantly, participants were told to keep their diet the same. No vitamin D supplements, no major changes in the food. This way, the scientists could isolate the effects of exercise alone. The study ran for 10 weeks in the dead of a UK winter when sunlight was at its weakest. The results? The control group, the ones who stayed sedentary, lost about 15% of their circulating bioactive vitamin D. The exercise group, on the other hand, held steady. The vitamin D levels stayed where they started. That's a massive difference for something as simple as showing up to move 4 times a week. We know we should be getting a little bit of exercise every day. 4 times a week doesn't seem that difficult to do, especially if it's going to maintain our vitamin D levels. So this suggests exercise didn't just help their hearts and lungs, it acted as a shield against the natural decline of nearly everyone experiences in the winter. Why does all this matter? Well, this matters for 3 big reasons. Number one, immune defense. Winter is prime time for colds, flus, and other infections. Vitamin D is a key regulatory of immune cells. By keeping levels steady, exercise can keep your immune system strong when you need it most. Energy and mood. Number two, seasonal affective disorder or the winter blues often overlaps with vitamin D. Protecting those levels means protecting your mental resilience too. Number three, performance and recovery. Athletes and really anyone who trains consistently need vitamin D for muscle function. Declining levels can mean slower recovery, weaker contractions, and less power. Exercise becomes a very thing that protects your ability, well, to exercise. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly does exercise influence vitamin D? The study didn't pin down the full answer, but there are 2 strong possibilities. First, exercise mobilizes fat stores. Because vitamin D is locked away in fat, breaking down fat through lipolysis could release vitamin D into the bloodstream. Kind of makes a little sense. And number two, the second one would be exercise influences the way the body converts the storage of vitamin D into its active form. So even if your total stores don't change dramatically, the ability to use what you have might improve. Either way, the results are the same. More vitamin D available in circulation, doing what it's supposed to do. So what does this all mean for you? Here's where we bring this back to something actionable. We'd like to be actionable here. You've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again. Structure matters. Structured exercise through the winter isn't just about staying in shape. It's about protecting your biology against the season itself. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably already trained. The key now is to make sure the winter program is dialed in and consistent. What does that mean? First, let's schedule your sessions. Treat them like an appointment. 4 days a week of moderate intensity work was enough to make a measurable difference in this study. Mix your modalities. The program in the study alternated between treadmill, bike, steady state, and intervals. Variety keeps you engaged, and targets different systems. So let's just not get on the machine and do the same thing over and over and over again. Let's challenge the body a little bit. Don't chase weight loss alone, which many people think exercise is just for weight loss. It's so untrue. The participants in this case maintained their body weight. That wasn't about shedding pounds. It wasn't about that. It was about signaling the body with exercise. Even without scale changes, they preserve their vitamin D. Always hear how we put in pounds over the winter. Let's keep the pounds off and let's keep our vitamin D stable. And kind of layer your strategies. Exercise is powerful, but it doesn't have to be your only tool. Smart nutrition and supplementation may still play a role, especially if you already know you're deficient. Check with your doctor. And kind of beyond the science, the mental edge here. Well, let's talk a little about the psychological side. Winter has a way of making us sluggish, less motivated, and more prone to skipping workouts. It's human. It happens. But knowing that your training isn't just keeping you in shape, but actively protecting you at a cellular level, you can push a little bit. You need to stay consistent. Think about it. Every time you step on a treadmill in December or grind through an interval session in January, you're not just burning calories. You're fortifying your immune system and supporting your bones, stabilizing your mood, and holding on to the most vital nutrient your body needs. That's a powerful reframe. Now, let's be fair. The research isn't complete. The study looked at a very specific population, sedentary adults with overweight or obese. We don't know yet if the same results hold for leaner individuals or for those who are already training consistently. We also don't know which type of exercise is most effective, cardio, resistance training, or some hybrid of the both. But here's the thing. When the outcome is positive, the side effects are positive. The intervention is something we already know is good for us. Do we really need to wait for perfect evidence? The upside of structural training is so high and the risk is so low that the case basically makes itself. So here's our winter playbook. My challenge to you, build your winter exercise playbook now. Don't wait until January to get serious. Start setting routines right now, October and November, that carry through the gray months. Here are a few practical steps. Pick your anchor days. Choose 2 or 3 days each week that will never change no matter what. These become your non-negotiable. Myself, I always try to work out on Sunday. It makes it a little bit easier to get 5 days in. I only have to get 4 days in during the week. Makes it much, much easier. Add variety. Rotate between treadmill, bike, rower, or elliptical for cardio. Layer in body weight strength sessions if you don't have access to any kind of weights. We design programs all the time for people who do not have weights at their home. Track consistency, not perfection. Some weeks you'll hit 4 workouts. Some weeks you'll only 2. Some days you'll do better than other. The goal is long-term consistency, not short-term intensity. Think in season. You're not just working out to survive winter. You're training to thrive in the spring. Every session now pays dividends later. So let's kind of wrap this up. Let me bring it full circle here. Winter comes with unavoidable challenges, less sunlight, less outdoor activity, and a natural decline in vitamin D. But exercise, especially structured and consistent exercise, gives us a tool to fight back. It's not just about looking good and maintaining fitness. It's about fortifying your biology against the season itself. That's what functional training is all about. Building resilience that shows up not just in sport performance, but in life. That's what functional training is. So when you lace up your shoes or hop on the bike for this winter, remember, you're not just moving. You're protecting your energy, your mood, your long-term health. So thanks for joining me on this episode of the Y.E.S Functional Longevity Podcast. I'm Chris Boyer, reminding you that structure wins. Build your plan, stick to it, and let exercise be your shield against winter's decline. Until next time, when I'll give you more information on how to get fit, feel younger, live better. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you in a week.